All right, so I'm testing out my new mic and I want to speak about somatic awareness. This subject is dear to my heart. This feels like the thing that I'm being called forward to really speak to. Soma meaning body, and soma, or the body, is multidimensional. And so what do I mean by multidimensional? In yoga, we talk about the koshas, right? The different sheaths or layers of the body. We have the physical, the mental, the emotional, the energy body, and the spiritual body or the bliss body. So we have these 5 layers, and these can be also known as dimensions, right? They're different layers of existence, layers of creation, and they are not separate from themselves, but it's a way of understanding. So every cell in the body is multidimensional or has each of these layers. So the cell is made up the physical stuff of the earth, right? The minerals, the actual physical tissue, and it's a layer of density that exists that we can touch with our sense organs. It's the 3D reality, right? So we have that layer of density that is also our physical body, that is not separate from the subtle body. So we go from gross to these very sensorial, physical, experience. And then we work out to more subtle levels. And so noticing that on the spiritual path or in the spiritual community, we can take the physical and make it less important, even inferior, and make it separate from the spiritual or the higher realms or extrasensory perception. Like, that is more important. But we don't get there. We can't necessarily have that experience of the spiritual if we don't have a physical body, a vessel, a sacred portal from which to experience those things. And so, in yoga, I learned I am not this body, I am not this mind. So there is an important phase of the journey where we learn that things aren't always what they seem. Things aren't so concrete. And this idea that, I'm not this body, I'm not going to identify as the ego self or just this physical body. There is more to me than that. And that helps us kind of reach for higher purpose or reach for bigger meaning, take a bigger perspective on life, and start to cultivate non-attachment. And from there, I feel like some can get stuck in that place of that wanting to reach that spiritual experience and not identify with the body and kind of, dismiss this 3D physical experience. But what I'm finding is that once we have that perspective that there is something greater, that we are all indeed one, there is a unified consciousness that we are all a part of, we can start to bring that journey back down into the body. And that really what yoga is, it's about. It's somatics. It's learning to handle or drive this vehicle of the body. And once you learn the breath work, you learn the yogic postures, right? The asanas, the pranayama, you learn the philosophy of how to control the breath, how to control the mind. We can utilize this somatic awareness, this awareness of the body, and we've kind of got the manual of how to maintain a regulated state or come back into equilibrium. And then from there, a lot of us are pushed into Ayurveda. And that is how to fine tune our unique vehicle based on our constitution, our unique makeup of the five elements in our bodies and in our minds, in our whole mind body complex, right? Mind, body, spirit. And that's really where I found that I started to unify that triangle, mind, body, spirit. I had the information about how to control the mind using meditation, mantra, how to control the body using asana and pranayama. And that's also prana, right? The energetic body as well. And then the missing piece to Ayurveda is that we can start to learn about the whole body, this wealth of knowledge, this body of medicine of really how the creation works. And basically, Ayurveda gives us this framework of the journey of consciousness into matter. And so we start to relate with our environment through the five senses, through the five elements, and how those things impact our soma, or the experience in our body. So how our external world relates with our internal world, and how our internal world relates with our external world. And we begin to find that as we do that, we come into this dance with life. Life dances with us, and we dance and we mirror life, and life shows us, reflections of our inner world. And our inner world then shows us more reflection of our outer world. It's this beautiful feedback loop. And that feedback loop also happens when we are in distortion, or we are not in harmony with our body, mind, spirit complex, right? So this feedback loop happens in lots of ways. You could have ways in which you are in harmony in certain aspects of the life, and then in other ways, not so much. And so this mind-body connection is so important. It's a very important piece that some of us are missing in order to apply Ayurveda and its wisdom. Is that mind-body connection, is that really fine-tuning that ability to listen to our body's wisdom and communications. And that means when it's in harmony and when it's in disharmony, right? Dysregulation. And so what has been brought to my attention a lot lately is that having these physical symptoms, having this disease, having some sort of, digestive issues, autoimmune issues, hormonal issues, pain, allergies, really anything